All right. What's going on, everybody? We are back again with another live stream, and it is Thursday, August 12th, 2021. I'm just pouring some water here. All right. So how you all doing? Here we are. We're just getting everything ready, rolling here. I've got a couple things that I'm trying to catch up on because I'm a little bit late. Oh, not yet. Almost there. Time to go. Haha. Okay, good. That's better. Oh, and we need the banner. All right, that's good. Now we're talking. All right, so there it is. Welcome again to the Ono Coffee live stream, Coffee and Cigars weekly edition number 55. So here we are, 55 episodes into it, and we're doing as every week, coffee and cigars. So the coffee of today is the Corazon de Jesus, Finca El Salitre from Costa Rica, and then we'll also be smoking the Espinosa Warzone Short Churchill. Yes, that's what we're smoking today. And yeah, how's it going out there? It's been blazing today, like absolutely blazing. And I have been working in the yard, or not the yard, but I've been working outdoors in the elements all day. So if I look red, it's because I've been under the sun a lot, you know. So here at the roastery, we've actually expanded a little bit. There's another workshop in the facility that we're in, and it was available, so I took over that part of the facility, and now we are moving everything over to that facility. So what that means is that in the current roasting area, we're going to keep that and really make it clean and really nice and easy place to work, and then have the rest of our workshops and our little stands and everything in another area. And so that's what's going on. It's been a lot of over the last 2 days. Been moving a lot of the gear. It's almost most of the equipment is moved over. There's a few things that need to be done, but otherwise, I think we're ready to go, and it's going to be pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited because like now we'll have actual space for the different projects we're working on. So like there's this espresso machine I've been trying to rebuild for the last several years, and like it's just having, getting the time to do it, plus also having the space to do it. Like in the roastery, I kind of dedicated a little bit of space, but it's really, really tiny. So it's just enough to put, well, basically it's just enough to pile everything on top of the espresso machine, all the parts boxes and everything. So you really can't, it's really more difficult to work. So now this space should give us more room to do things like that. And what else do I want to do there? There's a place to keep all of our cleaning supplies, and it basically just allows us to diversify our way of working so that we can just be more effective. And then in the main space, the main roasting area, that can be really nice and cleaned up and sharp and give a lot of space for us to have guests and trainings, and just have people here so that we can work with them and have a nice space to work with them in. And so that's what's going on here. But yeah, it's been hot. My God, it's been crazy hot. Like it was almost 100 degrees today. So yeah, it's been interesting. All right, so let's get into our coffee. And today's coffee is, oh my, everything's a little bit discombobulated, is the Corazon de Jesus. This is it's the Finca El Salitre, lot number 25, from Costa Rica, grown by a guy named Johnny Alvarado. And Johnny is this relatively new farmer who works in an area called Chiripo. And Chiripo is about a 5-hour drive from San Jose, the capital. So it's pretty far to get to. And but it's one of the highest grown coffees that we have, almost 2,000 meters, and just beautiful stuff, light and bright and just kind of very enjoyable. So this is one of the coffees that like we actually roast towards the lighter side of things. Most of our roasts tend to be in the medium. This is one of the coffees that we think really goes well as a lighter roast. So that's our light roast. People ask me, hey, what's your light roast? This is the coffee. And I think it's a really lovely coffee for us to enjoy. So we're going to have that today. And that's also available here. I'll show you where that is. Oh, share. Is this working? Oh, no, there we go. There we go. So this is the Corazon de Jesus. It's on our website, SparrowCoffee.com. So if you want some, check it out. And we even have subscriptions. You get 10% off if you subscribe. You get 10% off all the coffees. And then it just kind of sets up so you can work it so that you can do it on your schedule. So if you want to do it weekly, bi-weekly, tri-weekly, monthly, all that can be done. So that's a great way to go. And so what we're going to do, we're going to be brewing with the Kinto brewer. And this is the Kinto slow coffee style. It's also a conical brewer, which is, and with a single hole in it, right? So there's a single hole here, right? Now, it's similar in that respect to the V60. However, the ribbing is straight, where the V60 has a slight curve, like a Venturi effect. Does it make a big difference? I don't think so. I think it's all generally the same. But this is nice because it's actually a nice, thick, heavy ceramic, which is quite, I think it's quite nice. By comparison, the Hario V60 in ceramic porcelain feels a bit more flimsy. Like this will take a little more of a beating, right? And actually, this is the one we used at Spro in Hamden for the last couple of years. And so it got used a lot, like daily. So it's still in great shape, yeah? Look at that thing. Not bad, even clean. Oh, and there's Rusty. What's going on, man? Yeah, new background. So what's going on with the background? The background is, I got a background now because I was making some videos or editing some videos, and I thought, you know what? Instead of just, so for the Spro channel, I do this one called Cafe Verite, which is basically, I've shot all this footage of us making drinks, and then I narrate, right? And as I was with my niece last week, we're hanging out and we're watching YouTube videos, and they like to watch, there's some game called Among Us, right? And there's this guy who I guess is good at it, and he's, you've seen them, they're all like in the corner and they're talking like, yeah, this is what we're doing. We're going to get him. I'm going to get him, that kind of thing. And so I just thought, you know what, maybe that'd be kind of funny to export into this world. So I got the green screen, and actually I'll show you it as it's green. This is the movie magic. Bam! There it is, green. Huh? And then if I want, I go, oh, look at that. There, a temperature, like here we are. California. Look at that. Low 52, high 97. Look at 99 up there in, what's that? Portland, Oregon, 99 degrees. That's crazy. 102 down here in LA. Look at that. 102. Goodness. 91. Oh, no. 102. That's not LA. That's, looks like Santa Clara or San Jose. 91 in LA. It's 74 in San Diego. Not bad, 74. All right. And then the East Coast, what do we have going on here? 87, 75, 90, 91 here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Up there where you are, Rusty, it looks like it's going to be, was it 75? Not bad. It's not bad. So yeah, this allows us to do a little bit more with the background. So this is actually a stock background. Oh, is it hot there too? Man, it is blazing. You know what, actually, and all the times I've been to Africa, it's never been this hot. It's never this hot. Uganda is not this hot. Like I'm wearing, I'm sweating. Like I was out there today and just, like so much so that the shirt that I was wearing, I was, working in the morning, moving gear between the two buildings in the sun, and man, my shirt is soaked, just completely soaked through. So during lunch, I took the shirt off, laid it out on a table in the sun, dried out completely. After lunch, put it back on, kept working. Man, it's crazy. Heat advisory. Yeah, they say, I heard that here too, man. It's probably a bad idea to be out there working, big old fat guy run around in the heat. I don't know. Crazy. All right, so let's get back to our brewing. We're going to take our Kinto slow brew and a typical Melita number 4 filter. And I like to use these Melita number 4 filters because they're pretty much everywhere. You could buy them in bulk and like, they're everywhere. Like you don't have to worry about it. You get all these ones that are made specifically for these, and then you have to order and plan. And I don't want to, honestly, if I'm making coffee, I don't want to plan that much. If I have a Melita filter, I take it, fold it over, just like that. Open it up, and that makes a cone. Now it's an uneven cone. Like if you buy the ones for Kinto or V60, it's going to be an even cone. But this uneven cone now will fit here like this. Huh? Not bad. And then we can take our ground coffee. Huh? Yeah. Look at that. All right, there, ground coffee. Kind of a nice medium grind. Let me pull up the our risers here. So we're going to brew into. Oh, hang on. It's always like Jenga here, you know. Actually, I could use a little bit height. Yeah, that's good. Or no, that's too high. All right, so then, thus, we'll put the on top, right? Okay, good. Ah, mother, son of a gun. This is what I've always worried about. Burning myself by pouring the hot boiling water all over my legs because they're in shorts. All right, but we're okay now. I may have blisters, but whatever. The show must go on, right? Okay, so now we're going to take our timer and we're going to start timing as when we start to pour. And then we're going to pour and just saturate the coffee. I really need to get on the camera one day so you can see the above. All right, so why do we climb up in time, right? Why are we going up in time? Is because we want to watch our brewing. We want our brew to brew ideally between 3.5 to 4 minutes. So we're counting up because what we can do is if we're counting up, we can, we can then see where the brew finishes and then make adjustments as we need to. Right? So if it goes fast, then we need to coarse it, to fine the grind in order to create more resistance to slow the brew down. If it goes too slow, we can coarsen up and reduce the resistance and let it brew faster. So right now we're at we're at 1 minute, almost 30 seconds. And this is going relatively fast. Ooh. I can definitely feel a little bit of burning on my legs now. Well, 55 episodes, and this is the first time I've burned myself. Probably not too bad. So Di says, did you win the lottery? Did I win the lottery? Did they have the lottery? Well, the answer is no, because I have no idea. If there was like some $300 million jackpot that I missed out, well, I missed out. Where are we now? All right, so like in this example, for example. Oh, yes. Yes, I won the back. Look at this beautiful home that I have with a piano and this fireplace. It's really lovely here. I think we're a little bit fast. We're at 242, and we're almost at the full. Almost. Oh, that's what I forgot. See, I knew I forgot something. No, not new house. This is just like I said earlier, this is the green screen. So I'm green screening it tonight because I was making videos about like those gaming videos where the gamer is like in the bottom of the corner of the screen. That's what I was making earlier this week. All right, so now we're finishing up 343. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. That's really kind of what we're looking for. All right. So here is our brew. Let us see what it tastes like. But today I'm a little bit discombobulated because I was working out in the heat, and man, it was just so brutal out there. Look at that. It's pretty. From my perspective, it's pretty clear. Yeah, so I don't know. It seems like the brew might be on the lighter side, the brewing. How about since we're in this fancy house? So it's nice and light. Light roast, light bodied, brighter, kind of citrusy. Although I think I would have liked it more. It's got some tea notes to it. I think I'd like it more with a finer grind to kind of draw it out longer, right? Like, even though it looks like it was 347, I think it was really done closer to 3 minutes. And I think if we were a little bit finer, draw it out closer to 4 minutes, it would get more extraction and then be a lot more developed, a lot more enjoyable. But as it is, it's not bad. It's nice. It's nice. Perhaps errors in brewing. All right, so now let us move on. We're going to move on to our cigar of the week. And so we've got our cigar here from Tobacco Leaf. It's 410-799-2094 if you need some. And that's where I get all the cigars for the show. And I buy them all, pay normal price for them. We don't expect people to give us cigars for free because then we feel a little bit like we don't want people to think that they can just tell us what to say, right? All right, so this is the Warzone Short Churchill from Espinosa. Comes in a cello wrapper. Come on. So I started a new live stream last week on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. all about coffee on the Spur Coffee channel. And so if you want to talk coffee, like really talk about coffee, no cigars at all, it's all coffee. 10 a.m. Tuesday mornings on the Spur Coffee channel, not this channel, but the other channel. All right, so look at that. It looks pretty good. Nice looking, what do you call that? Wrapper looks good. I like the band. The band's attractive. Huh? Ooh, blue. Oh, nice. Nice. This Espinosa guy, he has spent some money. A little bit blotchy here on the wrapper, but nice looking. The feel is nice. It's a smooth, silky, like not silky, but like it's got that satiny feeling to your fingertips. That light manure barnyard that we see very common in like cigars. That's a nice thing. Oh, it's also a mild box press, right? Look at that box press. Ooh, look at this at the banding. Is there green in that? Maybe it's reflecting. We can see the house through the cigar. Oh, freaky. But it's not green. That's interesting. All right, so let's just get into it now. We're going, this is the Espinosa Warzone Short Churchill. We're going to be smoking that. And we're going to be cutting it with the Xikar MTX tool. How's that cut? Not bad. Still cutting good after what? 7 years? That's right. I got this in 2014 and still using it. Rusty says the next background should be the lounge of tobacco leaf. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And even a Di agrees with that as an idea. What I can do is, what else do I have on the backgrounds here? We can do the garden at the old Spro. Here it is, the garden. Actually, this is the garden. This is a picture that I took of the garden after we had moved out. So all of the garden, all of our flowers and like plants have been removed. Actually, I took a few of them and then we put the rest for auction. And man, those guys are scavengers, man. Scavengers. They stripped the entire place. All right, so the cold draw. Easy cold draw. A little bit of sweetness. Pleasant, pleasant. All right, now we're going to light. So not bad. Mm. So what are you guys all smoking out there tonight? And of course, where are you smoking? Drop them in the comments below. I'm interested to know. So the first puffs, nice spiciness, little black pepper, cedar, it's actually quite pleasant, quite pleasant. But I would say the dominant notes for me are black pepper and cedar. The draw is good, but it's starting out well. Oh, see, here's the thing. I don't know if it's me or not, but look at it's a little bit uneven already, right? Why? Am I pulling too hard? I don't understand. Oh, well, here's why. Okay, so George says, slow your roll with that torch. Okay, so I have to put it down now. I'm going to put it down for a moment. So it's getting, I'm presuming now that since you said that, George, that unevenness in the burn is because we're going too fast with the light. Is that right? Yeah, look at that. All right, it's got nice flavor to start out with, so I kind of want to puff on it more. And George saying he's out on the balcony burning the FFO, the Fuente Opus X Robusto. Excellent, excellent. That's a nice one. How about you, Rusty? Are you outside in the heat? And George, it's not too heat where you are. See, I'm trying. I want to keep smoking. Actually, it's starting off really enjoyably, like enjoyable. So I kind of want to continue on with harder puffing. Yeah, uneven burn due to the light. Yeah, that makes sense. Next time you come on the show, we have to do a full tutorial on proper lighting techniques. I think that would be helpful, at least for someone like me. So yes, it is hot out there. Nice. Yeah, it's brutally hot. I don't have the ventilation running yet because I'm trying to keep the AC in as much as possible for as long as possible. So have you guys seen that new show, or that not new show, but the documentary called Woodpecker? No, not Woodpecker, Roadrunner, about Anthony Bourdain's life? I just watched part of it last night. I watched half of it. And then I was just tired. I went to bed, but I thought it was quite interesting. Have you guys seen it yet? Any thoughts on it? What did I watch before that? Oh, I was watching Django Unchained finally. So Django Unchained, I had never seen it. So I thought I'd watch it, and it was actually, I really enjoyed it. I was sad to see Blofeld get eliminated early on in the movie. Well, halfway through. I would like to see more of him. And Jamie Foxx was pretty good. You know, sometimes Jamie Foxx is a little bit like, you're like, almost, well, I guess they're all unbelievable, but yeah. But I enjoyed him. I thought he was good. I thought he was good overall. No. The DR. Speaking of which, I was thinking today, like, well, while we do the coffee is kind of, it's a nice thing to have. And it's still pleasant, very tea-like today. What I really wanted to do was to share with you another thing that I usually, and George says, not a tutorial, but sharing. Okay, that's fine. Sharing techniques is always a good thing. All right, so I thought that I would, and then he says, sad saga. Yes, I mean, I don't know how sad it gets because I'm only halfway through, but I'll watch it, maybe the rest tonight. But like I'm up to the point where he was with Ottavia, or maybe he has his daughter, but maybe he's about to break up with Ottavia. But he was talking, the people were talking about how much perfectionist he was about the show, the TV series that he was making, and like he always wanted the episodes to be really on point. And I thought that was good stuff. That was good stuff. Yeah, you know, Tarantino, I've always kind of been hesitant about Quentin, and some of my friends are friends with him, but you know, I never really watched much of his movies. But I thought, you know, what happened was I saw some clips of Inglourious Bastards on YouTube, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll watch that. And then I couldn't find that, so I found Django Unchained, so I watched that, and I thought it was good. I thought it was enjoyable. Superhero story, oh yeah, the way he kills those people at the Candyland. Oh my goodness. So it was complete. There was much more to say. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's what I imagine. I mean, there's a lot to say about him. He had so much that he offered to everyone. So the coffee is the Corazon de Jesus. It's a coffee from Costa Rica that we source, and it's from about 2,000 meters in an area called Chiripo. Chiripo is about 5 hours drive from San Jose, and just a beautiful coffee. It's a nice, high-grown, like we're talking almost 2,000 meters. So it's got a really beautiful brightness, like a champagne-like acidity, and a lot of fruit notes, mango, typically. maybe some like naranja, right? Well, orange. Well, I don't know how to say that, but an enjoyable coffee that we actually roast a little bit lighter than the rest of our coffees because it's a higher grown coffee and it has those acidic notes, those bright notes that I think are really beautiful when you bring that roast, hold that roast back just a little bit to really let that brightness sing. Yeah, yeah, I see that. I see that. He was. It was interesting to learn that for a cook's tour, they basically met him one time, said, "Hey, let's do this TV series," and then a little while later, let's jet off to Japan for 6 weeks. We're going to go to Japan and Vietnam and a bunch of other cities. And it's like, whoa, that's quite deep to get into it. Quite deep to get into it. So Django and the Glorious are both QT fantasies. Well, QT is very much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's just friends with some of my friends. That's about it. Yeah, exactly. It's a really lovely, lovely coffee. When I first tasted it, when we were cupping it and sampling coffee, I was like, wow, this is really something unique and special. So I really wanted to have this coffee, and it's been a great coffee to have, and really, really enjoyable. All right, so we're still smoking. I'm getting a little bit. I'm trying to be slow with it. I'm trying to be frugal with the smoking. As you can see, I haven't really burned heavy on it like I normally do. But it's pleasant. It's a very pleasant, very enjoyable cigar. I don't know why they call it Warzone. That's a interesting name. But let's see. Let's look up some details on it. So, made in Nicaragua at the La Zona Cigar Factory, using a Cameroon wrapper with a Honduran binder and Colombian Nicaraguan fillers. And it's 6.5 by 48. You know, it's interesting. Like, when I first started smoking cigars in the 90s, I remember Churchills were like, I remember I was thinking, God, these are big cigars. Like, you're smoking a Churchill, you're like, yeah. I'm like Winston. But now in the 2000s, when we have so many like big Robustos and big Toros and big 60 ring gauge, this 48 just seems small. Like, I don't know, George, what do you think about that? Like, I know 48 is still the original size, but it just feels small now. Great flavor, but yeah. Oh, I'm responding. I haven't shown you with it. Yeah, I mean it's still going. Man, it's still. I'm really enjoying this one. In some ways, it's kind of, I'm having the enjoyment that I have with the Revenge. No, not that with the Revenge, right? It's got that nice, but it's like it's not like the Revenge. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't have that force and that flavor profile. It's a, I would say it's a complementary flavor profile to the Revenge. Much lighter, much lighter bodied, but still very enjoyable. Yeah. Mellow, not murderous. Yeah, like this one. Yeah, you could do another one. Last night, though, I did smoke the Baca 60 by 4.5. Their, what do they call that? The Petit Gordo of the Baca, and then I followed that up with a Revenge. Probably the only cigar that could follow along with these flavor profiles. Yeah. Cigars have been getting a lot bigger. Like Robustos were originally 50, right? 50, but shorter, much shorter than the Churchill. But I just remember thinking back in the day, the Churchill was huge, was big, and then the Partagas number 110 or the Partagas number 10, the American version was just massive. I was like, "Oh, that's a massive." Or like, the massive one for us was what's that brand from Cuba? So one of our friends gave us one. The oh no, I'll remember it eventually. But it was this like super like long, like probably 48 but long. And it's it's not the famous, it's not one of the famous brands. I mean, it's a famous brand, but it wasn't one of the most popular ones. No, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. So classic proportions, the golden means of cigars will always endure. 5 by 50, 6.5 by 42, 7 by 48, 675 by 46. Yeah. Like that 5 by 50. When you see a 5 by 50 like the Rothschild, like the one from Illusione, it's like you kind of think that it's small because I don't know what people say. Robustos are what, like 52, 54, 6 inches. You're like, not that, nothing to complain about. It's nice to have a big cigar for the money, but it's like then you see the original like Robusto and you're like, whoa, that looks kind of small. So for those of you who haven't been down to Central America, today I wanted to give a little flavor of what it's like. So when you go to, like, let's say Nicaragua, right? If you're in Nicaragua and you go to the restaurant, you can get bottle service. And the bottle service is interesting because, like, well, at least this one place, one of the most places that I go to a lot is a place called Tasca-Kiko. Tasca-Kiko, I don't know if you've been there, George, but Tasca-Kiko is this restaurant in like a neighborhood in Managua. And it's a Spanish restaurant and just delicious food. I love it there. So anytime I'm in Nicaragua, I always try to go to Tasca-Kiko. And what we get there, and I think this is pretty much endemic to most restaurants that you go out to eat in Nicaragua. You do bottle service, and they'll give you a bottle of Floor 7, right? Oh. So George says wrapper contributes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Wrapper and filler of the 60 ring gauge wipes that out. Yeah, it's very difficult to get that. Oh, the Salomon, nice. L'Exception de Jose Jenner. No, that wasn't, what was the one? The Sancho Panza, that's what it was. The Sancho Panza Corona Gigante. So we went out one night, had a big steak dinner, and a friend of ours busted out these Corona Gigantes. And I think they were maybe 48, but like by like 8 or 9 inches, like some big cigar. And it was, man, we had a steak dinner. Like we were full. And man, that particular cigar at that time was so like much power that, man, I was ill after that. I was like, I thought that the steak dinner would like be enough to quell that chill, but man, it was a long night, that one. All right, Rothschild's was always 475 by 48, and okay, gotcha. So there is a difference between Rothschild and I wasn't sure if there was, or if they were just intermixing the names. The Spanish overlords. What, 400 years of Spanish rule? No, longer in Central America, right? Well, they had rum. So, back to the Spanish masters. So when you go there, they'll bring you a bottle. And sometimes, depending on the restaurant, they may bring it like this. And they kind of like know where you started, right? So if you get a full bottle, you could drink however much you want, and you get charged for whatever you drink. And they also will bring a bucket of ice. and a shot glass. Oh, right. And then you just sit there with your meal. They give you a glass, like a tall glass like this. Oh, let's close that up. And when you have your ice, so you got your glass and you get your ice and you just kind of fill the ice as you like. And the interesting thing is that they give you a shot glass. Like, I guess in Nicaragua, the Nicaraguans are very much about measuring their alcohol. We may finish the whole bottle, but you're still measuring it. I'm not sure if they measure it because, I don't know why. Maybe just for better balance of flavor. So you get your measure. And George says, Sancho Panza Sancho's, the A size, 9.5. Oh, yeah. And Sancho's were overpowering made right. You know, that's the interesting thing. Like that one time, it was super like powerful, and we were like, I was ill. So I kind of was afraid of them for a while. Like, you know, I didn't want to go crazy with it. But then not too long later, several years later, much later, somebody had one, or I got one, and I tried it, and it wasn't that same like experience. Which goes back to the whole, like, you know, we've got issues with the, the consistency in Havana. Bottle service and live clubs are always the way to go, but back here in the States, yes. Like, people there, they're not, like, getting plastered. Here we get plastered. All right, so we take the shot now, pour it in, and then they give you, like, bottles of Coke. The Mexican, well, it's not called Mexican Coke there, it's just called Coke. Nicaraguan Coke, you know. And then you just add, so as you're eating your paella or, you know, your pargo and pergamino, you have this. Maybe some jamón ibérico, manchego cheese. Oh, that's nice. That's definitely so this is the flavor of Nicaragua, I think. Coke and a shot, so like a glass like this is I guess a Collins type glass, right? They give you a glass, or at least Tosca Kiko gives you a glass like this, shots, one shot, and gives a nice balance to the balance of the ingredients, right? Like, it's interesting, like, when I started drinking better quality or higher quality, more expensive rums, and then drank the 7 by itself, ooh, it's kind of rough. Like, for years, all of us would talk about, like, how awesome the 7 is. And the 7's good. With Coke like this, it's amazing. Smoked it too young. So you mean when the Sancho Panza is not so strong, it's still too young? Is that correct? Still lit. After all that talking and drink making. Huh. Not bad. And Dice says, in America, we now get spiked Mountain Dew. No need to measure. Really? They sell spiked Mountain Dew with alcohol in it? I don't know. I think I prefer this. I'm not a big Mountain Dew guy. My brother, a big Mountain Dew guy. Always loved Mountain Dew. My cousins always loved Mountain Dew. I agree with you on this, George. Always Coke as it should be enjoyed, made cane sugar, but not high HFCS. But the problem is now, what I was reading is that even in the Mexican production where this comes from, they're starting to move towards HFCS. Let's see. What do they say here? Oh, maybe not in this one. Like I saw some reports that had labeling where it actually said sugar or HFCS. This one only says sugar. see. Cane sugar, caramel, color, phosphoric acid, flavors, and caffeine. You know what? To me, like the flavor's great, right? But it's the phosphoric acid that is what makes Coke really the thing. Like that phosphoric acid, when you're eating like fatty foods and like what salty foods, that phosphoric acid just cuts through it in a way that like Pepsi doesn't, right? Like it just cuts in, like, oh, it's perfect, perfect. Oh, it's a highball glass. Yeah, you know, I'm bad. I'm a terrible cocktail guy. Terrible cocktail guy. Oh, but I'm gonna drink the rest of this bottle. When Sanchos are young, they will take the top of your head off, but properly aged, they are delight. Well behaved. Oh. Okay, okay. Mm. 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 Now I think it's burning unevenly, though. So I'm going to cap around the edge. Like it's right here, the top part, that's a little bit unlit. HSCS is cheaper. It never gets labeled, but it never gets labeled kosher. Yes, I heard about that. I heard that on the American versions, they usually denote that also with yellow caps. But I think it only comes in on the 2-liter bottles. At least here in Maryland, in Baltimore. Oh, green. It's a green. So Brian says it's a green that uses cane sugar instead of fruit test. Okay. Yeah, we just said it. But there it is. There it is. Actually, green. I thought it was yellow. Okay, good. All right, so we're lit nicely now, but it is. So if you're just joining us here on the chat on the stream, this is the Espinosa Warzone Short Churchill, made in Nicaragua at the La Zona Cigar Factory. Actually, smoking really well. Like I'm really surprised. I'm really quite enjoying it. Thank you, Tony. I'm glad you liked the background. I could do the other background. Let's see the other background. Maybe we'll do another background. I'm getting intro. Here we are. Here's a different one. Now we're outside and golden hour, looking really pretty. Got some tables here. How about the table? Some tables there to sit out and have a. Look at that. Set up for a cigar. There's that Galera cigar ashtray. There we are. There we are. Uneven burn, a well-made cigar should always straighten itself out. So I think I think it's getting close to straightening itself out. Like this unevenness was a lot more pronounced just a few moments ago, or a few puffs ago. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys like the backgrounds. Like I said, I got the background thing going on because I wanted to get, for some of the videos that we're putting out, I wanted to get some of that gamer flavor, right? So I don't know if you've seen that where the gamers on YouTube they're showing their screen of the game, but then they place themselves in the corner playing. And so a lot of times they'll insert themselves in a, like a screen, a little tiny screen in the corner, right? Like here, right? They'll do it here. But I saw this one guy, and he was using a green screen, a chroma key. Well, he was using green screen so he could chroma key the background out, and he would superimpose himself on the actual, on the screen. I thought that looked kind of neat, so I went to I went to Service Photo and I picked this up. Actually, I was looking at this one thing. El Gato makes this. You know those like when you go to conventions, you have those like those pop-up things that you have like your printed stuff about your company and all that. They had something like that, but that was like $160. I went over to the Service Photo, and these are like photographic backdrops, so 7 feet wide. The other one's like 54 inches. This is like 80, so I could go pretty far back and not run out of green screen. So this was like $70, so that was pretty good. And I do have stands lying around here, so that wasn't. I could just utilize those. Yeah, we were smoking out there in this setup. Actually, I took this. Some guys came by the other day. We had this smoke set up, and it was one of the pleasant days. It was one of the. Don't worry, George. It was one of the pleasant days when it was cooler, enjoyable. Actually, it was cool enough so it was enjoyable. So tonight, oh God, that would be miserable. Thank you. I'm glad you like. Thank you for that ashtray. And Dice says, yeah, Elgato makes some good stuff. Yeah, I've got a bunch of their stuff. Well, not a bunch. I've got a few of their stuff. I got their Stream Deck that I use here, which is a, if you're not familiar with Stream Deck, for those of you not familiar, Stream Deck is this kind of, let's see if I can show you. It's a little keyboard that has, I don't have enough cable. It's all wrapped up. But anyway, it's this, no, sure, I'll get it. Oof. So the Stream Deck, where are you? I'll pull it up so you guys can see it. All right, so this is the Stream Deck. And what it is, it's kind of this keyboard, hotkeys, 15 or 32 buttons. They're basically buttons that have little video screens on it. So you can change the graphics that are on the screen, on the button. Do they show more about it? Yeah, like you can do this. And then you can like have applications where you can program the buttons to do like certain commands to control the software or even some hardware. It's kind of cool. It's cool. $150 for this. It's I haven't taken full advantage of it. I mean, I have it here. Basically, it's for me the way that I'm using it right now is just a shortcut to open different applications. Go figure. Go figure. All right, there we are. So, Warzone Short Churchill, doing well. Smoking nice, a little bit uneven, but not a big deal. So what are you guys all smoking tonight? So I know George is smoking the Opus X, but how about the rest of you? Are you smoking? How about you, Rusty? Tony, I know you're smoking something. Yeah, it's all fancy looking. You know, you kind of like, when you do this YouTube thing, like you watch all these people on YouTube and they all have this like, these crazy setups, right? Like, they have like screens and lights and all these gadgets. You're like, ooh, I should get those. And like, I have to say, I did get some of them. But you know what they talk about a lot? Did I mention this last week about the keyboard? I don't remember, but if you watch YouTubers today, like they always talk about their computer. If you watch up their videos about their computer setups, a lot of them will talk about their keyboard and how they're so into these mechanical keyboards. And I was kind of wondering, like, what in the world are you talking about? Like mechanical keyboards? Like, what? Like, this is my keyboard. Oh, I use this one. This is an old one that I got from like 20 years ago. This is the post-op video video editing keyboard. Whoops. Video editing keyboard, right? So, as you can see, these are green keys. Oops, these are green keys. But you know, so it's got it just has the buttons marked with functionality depending on your editor. But this is what they can. So this is all that I know. This is what I like. I like these keyboards. You know, I like the ones that click, click, click. But like you buy those click, click, click keyboards, now they're like $150, $200, to $300. They have RGB lights in them, so they're all like glowy and stuff. But it's like they keep talking about these like mechanical keyboards, like there's some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of whatever. But to me, they're just, for us, those of us of our age, they're just a keyboard. We just call it keyboard. We don't call it mechanical. We just call it keyboard. So I don't know. That we could. I just have to figure that out. So Buddy's out there smoking a flathead. Good to see you, Bud. Where are we? Oh. Got Dino. Dino's his son, everybody. Smoking the Nintendo. I hope you mean that he's, you know, like killing on it rather than smoking it. We should like denote that because, you know, we are on the smoking show. So, and Tony's having a Jewish state Orphan Lonsdale from Famous Cigars and the Diet Cherry Pepsi. You love that Diet Cherry Pepsi. Yes, exactly. The Mac Ally Final Cut Pro keyboard. But you know, the interesting thing, like Final Cut Pro, even like it is a keyboard that was designed for Final Cut Pro, and I never used it for Final Cut Pro. Like I never ever used FCP. I only used iMovie, and then now I use DaVinci Resolve. But the keys, a lot of the keys are all shared, so functionality wise, you know, it works pretty well. But I actually got, for Resolve, I got this external keyboard, wireless. This is what they call the speed editor. And so it's designed for Resolve, and it's great. It's actually a great little piece. It's got you got shuttle, jog, and scroll. So you can just kind of choose which one you want. It's kind of similar to how we used to edit on, you know, VTRs, video tape recorders. So it's kind of cool. But these nonlinear editors today, they're just so much more. They're just so much more better. Like it's. If I was in film school today, it would be like a whole different game. Like, well, not really, but it's just interesting. Like even like to the point where I'm watching the movies. I was watching Monty Python: The Holy Grail while I was eating dinner. And I'm looking at the graphics. And, you know, it's made in the 70s. So back then, all the titles and everything were all optically done, right? So you have to, I forgot exactly how we did, but they're all optical they're all optical creations. Where now it's all digital. So like you could do all kinds of crazy stuff and it doesn't cost, and like all the optics would cost you a lot of money because you'd have to send that out to the processing house and they would create the optics and you're like, oh my gosh. Yes. It's a great editor. And so George's also asking, Bud, how is the flathead smoking? Let us know. And Tony says the Puros Huefernos is the actual name. Oh, the Drew estate, okay. Puros Huefernos. Huefernos? The only thing better is the Mango Pepsi Zero. Mango Pepsi Zero. That's just crazy, man. That's crazy. Does Pepsi make the machines like you know, Coke has these machines. Those high-tech ones with the screen. The ones that they have like at Five Guys. You put your cup in, and you push on the lever, fills with ice, and then you can have all this selection and choices of like flavoring your drinks, your Coke. Does Pepsi have that kind of thing? I haven't seen. But the interesting thing about that I was wondering the other day is when you put your hand inside the machine, you put your cup in, right? If you think about it, if you're just conscious about it, there's a fan blowing air. And I'm really curious to know why. Like, why is there a fan in the chamber blowing on the cup? What is that doing? Like, there's so much technology. I remember when they first came out with that machine, I got to play with a prototype at the restaurant trade show in Chicago, probably like 2002 or something like that. This is before they debuted it, but I remember seeing that machine. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it like mixed that mixes the Coke like perfectly. Long smoke, strong cigar. There it is. The flathead is a long smoke. When you say long smoke, is that a pejorative statement? Like, is it too long? Like, are you sitting there like thinking to yourself, like, man, this is just too much. This is just not enjoyable anymore. And George is saying, oh my gosh, Tony, do we need to do an intervention? Yes. That guy's crazy with his flavors. So struggling a little bit with the light. Probably because I'm talking too much. But really, really quite good. I'm a little bit concerned now because it's only 9 o'clock and I'm already this way through it. I'm going to have to do the old school Tony and like make this last for the next 3 hours. So long smoke, but it's great for the cigar, for the motorcycle. Yeah, that's the thing we were talking about the other day. Like, how do you light and smoke on a motorcycle? Like, wind is blowing in your face. Like, I used to have a convertible years ago, and so I would smoke in a convertible, and it was lovely. It was wonderful. Of course, we have a big windshield. But the way that the cigar would burn was always kind of really crazy. It was like, because of that air circulation inside the compartment. And then Dai said there was a custom vending machine made by Coke. It sends info back to Coke to, Well, it is a cool machine. And George says, no, Pepsi is not into tech. Well, that's Pepsi. You know, I went to a place yesterday. So there's a new Hawaiian restaurant called Halo Hawaiian Barbecue that opened in Arbutus, Maryland, which is a suburb of Baltimore, right? And it's weird because like the previous Hawaiian restaurant was also in Arbutus. So there's something about Arbutus that is attracting Hawaiian restaurants. And it's the only one well, there's another one in Bel Air, but it's not quite good. Not quite that. But this place, I went down to check it out. I don't know about you guys, but man, every time I see a place that has Pepsi, it just makes me mad. Like, I get angry. Like, I want that phosphoric acid to cut through it. I don't want the cloyingness to be, and it just makes me like irritated. Like, I think if Pepsi put phosphoric acid in their drink, that might make it better. I don't know, Tony, what does it say on your can there? Does it say what kind of acid they're using? George says, we need to get Tony into some vino to switch him from... Got to bust out that port wine there, Tony. Got to bust that port wine. So Tony says, George, I drank my 6-shot ice espresso at work with my cigar, so now it's time for the diet chair. Oh, nice. 6-shot. Jesus, that's crazy. And George says, on a bike, better to chew. What do you got to say about that, bud? Is that Robbie's place? Robbie? No, this is the roastery. This here is the roastery. The paint's getting, look, see the paint here is getting all worn. Right, worn. Bud was saying I need to go get my angle grinder and get some, what do you call it? Wire brush on it, then start scraping it off. So because we're about to repaint the building. So I finally chose the paint color, and I got it cleared with the landlord, and so now I'm just waiting for the crew that's going to come do it to get back to me when they have the time, and then we're going to kick it out. And then I'm getting my niece who does beautiful animation art. She does amazing. Ooh. She does amazing work, and I'm going to get her to create a mural for the York roadside, so it hopefully will be visually stunning. Oh, you're talking about Robbie. No, Robbie is no longer doing, I'm sorry, it took me a moment to figure that out. So those of you that don't know Robbie is this guy that Di and I know. He was a chef down in Annapolis that opened the other Hawaiian restaurant, which was called Taste of Aloha. And he ran for several years, but he had a kitchen fire, so that effectively shut down his business. No, this is actually a new place that is owned by Chinese. And to be honest with you, I was like, oh, Chinese. I was a little bit like questioning. Could it be good? But really, it was, if I think about it, if we really think about it in Hawaii, like one of the most ubiquitous local plate lunch kind of eateries is a place called L&L. And L&L was widespread when I lived there in the late 80s, early 90s. And then they were the first one to come to the mainland, and so they have outlets on the West Coast. And that guy is Chinese Filipino. So the history of Hawaiian joints is really Chinese. So I don't know why I was a little bit apprehensive at that first, but no, let's say, so go back. So I had so in Hawaii we have these things called plate lunch, right? And plate lunch is basically a protein with 2 scoops of rice and a scoop of macaroni salad. And they had the chicken katsu curry, which I'm a big fan of, chicken katsu curry. And they had a bunch of mixed plates, but I'm not really a fan of these mixed plates, right? Like it's all barbecue this or teriyaki that. And I'm just like, I don't want that. I want a little bit of chicken katsu curry with the barbecue ribs, right? The short ribs. And that's what I got. So it cost me a little bit extra. Like I think my total price was like $16 for the plate, which is kind of pricey for a plate lunch. But it was good. It was very solid, very solid. The right flavor notes. The curry was that Japanese style curry, the lighter style, not the darker brown one, but the lighter one, the more yellowy one. And then had the right flavor notes. The katsu, the chicken katsu, of course the meat's pounded really, really thin. But the breading, like super thick and like crunchy and like really like, actually probably the thickest and most crunchy katsu batter I've had anywhere. But it was quite good. It was very, like, I like the crunch. Right? I like that textural juxtaposition in food. So I really enjoyed it. So no, it's not Robbie's place. It is owned by Chinese, and it's quite well worth the effort to go. I spent a lot of my childhood in Arbutus. My foster grandmother lived in Colony Hill, which is just off of Sulphur Spring Road. And then I went, actually my kindergarten, I went to Ascension School, which is part of the Ascension Parish. Actually, since I was there, I drove by, checked it out. It's no longer a school now, it's like a parish center. I don't know what that means. Maybe like, community center. And then Bud says he had to buy a Harley so that he could smoke his cigar and have a motorcycle. You must have a windshield. Oh yeah, damn Siri. So citric acid and phosphoric acid is what they have in Pepsi. That citric acid must be something that actually tones down the phosphoric. Or maybe it's just they just like so much more sweetness. I wonder if there really is a big difference. Like perceptually, the perception is that that Pepsi tends to be sweeter than Coke, right? But I wonder if we drop that onto a what do you call that? The one that you look through, you put the sample in, you close the thing, and you look through it. The refractometer, if it has the similar sweetness. Yes, this is the outside view of this roastery. I'm going to have a makeover soon. Like I said in the early part of the live stream, I got a new space here in the buildings from our landlord, so I can move a lot. I'm moving a lot of our gear and stuff that we have. Just, I mean, it's just a cluster, really. It's just a cluster inside the roastery. Like, there's all kinds of stuff in there. So I'm moving all that out and making it streamlined and clean and like, it's going to be nice. It's going to be real nice. I find the opposite is true. You know, it's interesting. Like the diet, I mostly drink Diet Coke. And in a pinch, like at the Hawaiian restaurant, that's what I was drinking was Diet Pepsi. I like the Diet Pepsi actually better than the Pepsi. So how's our smoke doing? We're well into the second third. It has not gone out. It's gotten close. I had to touch it up once, but it's still smoking nicely. It's a little. That last time that I touched up, I probably shouldn't have done it. I think I might have hit it too hard because it got a little bit of that acridity, that bitterness. Maybe a little bit of a char. No, you know, not Hawaiian Sun. You know, no, I'm not really. Hawaiian Suns are fun, but you know what? I'm really, it's also partly because I don't want to drink so much sugar anymore. So Hawaiian Sun is as fun as it is. It's all sugar. Plus, if you get the fountain soda, you get refills. Hawaiian Sun, you get 12 ounces and you're done. Like, oh man, that's just disappointing. Like there was a time when we would go to like the diners, drive-in, and get the jumbo lilikoi, or go to Zippy's, jumbo lilikoi. And lilikoi, if you got it from here, is passion fruit. And it's a passion fruit juice that I really like. I really like it. But I haven't had that in years. Oh, look, the glass is like kind of fading. Not so much, but a bit fading. Oh, my Coca-Cola with coffee and zero sugar in my. Well, you know what? It's okay because you are the United States AeroPress champion. So Coca-Cola with coffee, that makes sense. I think I tried it. I don't think I remember. I don't remember liking it. I don't. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't really like anything in my Coke. I don't want anything to adulterate it. Like I like Coke as it is. And lately, I have, because of the weather, it's been so hot these last couple of days. I have been chugging them, Diet Cokes that is, chugging them pretty darn hard. No, Hawaiian Sun, see 11.5. Well, we're gonna less than half. That's like a whole sip you're missing. Got to use it. That Cirillo, he does have that great relight tip. I've really been enjoying it. And Tony's still defending the Mango Zero. Next time we come up to the house, we're gonna have to go try. And speaking of coming up to the house, when are we coming to the house? I still have this rub that's waiting. I haven't used it because I've been waiting. You said that you wanted to use it for your rub thing when the deck opens. When is the deck gonna be finished? It's August. I got that in May. What's going on there? How much deck do you have to do? Let's see the deck. Let's see this. Show us some pictures. Yes, Cirillo technique. Oh, I get it. I think the Cirillo is definitely the way to categorize that. And if people look at you like, what is he talking about? Then you just don't know. If you know, you know. So the Espinosa are doing well. And it makes me wonder, like, so we're pretty much through a lot of it. Next weekend, you mean next weekend as in like Saturday or like the 21st? All right, so let's see here. Let's look at our friends from Half Wheel, and this one. Let's see who did this. Charlie Minato did this back in December. Many cigars are built as collaborations. Is it a collaboration? Well, it doesn't matter. So it's called Warzone, and the artwork depicts the 10 Years' War, which took place from 1868 to 1878. Ah, it is a nice band. I really thought that was a pretty band. Here's the band, which does no good when I have the small screen running. There's the full band. Attractive. That's an attractive band. Skirting. What? It's just taking too long, man. Taking too long. Need to move faster. Yes, yes. I actually been meaning to call you about that. When is it good? When should we? We'll talk about it later. But let's start thinking about when we should do that. At one point, I was thinking, man, that's going to be how I do that, because I mentioned that before, that I was looking to pick up this coffee from Jersey. That was part of the reason why I was going to go. But I got them to ship it to me, so it's already here. But yes, let's put that together. I'm ready. Yes, the Cirillo is definitely the way to go. Let's see here. We need to have a little more ice for our beverage. Yeah, I do think that the Flor de Caña 7-year is really best showcased in this drink. Tony says, fat guys work slowly in the heat. Yeah, I get it. I've been working in the heat the whole day, the last 2 days. Sweating my butt off. Yoo-hoo, bottle or can. Buddy wants to know, which way do you guys like to go? I think if I'm ever going to do Yoo-hoo, it should be from the bottle and ice cold. But I haven't had a Yoo-hoo in, man, it must be over 20 years. What say you guys? Yoo-hoo, bottle, can? Yes, I agree. And and that's true of this as well. This Coke in the bottle has a very different flavor than when it's in a can. I just love this way here. And we're running low. We're running low. Let me refill. Let's go back. Another shot. Oh. Killed it. Of course, there's only like a shot and a half in the entire bottle left. Back in our highball glass. What's the difference between highball and the Tom Collins there, George? Yes, let's definitely bring him along. And then whoever else wants to come along and join us there, I think it'll be a nice time. If we could work it, maybe we can do the show on a Thursday night from there. Maybe he'd let us come and like take over his place. I know he closes at 5, so that would have to be something you might, if you know him, maybe you can arrange. Or not. If not, then not. The Siete Años has lost something of late. You know, I mean, that could be because I just remember, but I don't know if it's really lost. For me personally, I don't know if it's really lost something or I've just been drinking better rums, and so the whatever shortcomings are in the Siete are a little more apparent. But still, in this configuration, I'm still liking this. Still liking this very much. Yoo-hoo only from a vending machine, Frosty. Did they have Yoo-hoo in vending machines? I've not seen that. And Tony agrees, ice cold from the bottle is the way. This is the way. No cans, just bottles. Forget that PET. Yes, forget that. We really should be switching over to either cans or bottles. This PET stuff, man, is just killing everyone. And Rusty wants to know, in Ridgewood, yes, the Davidoff Lounge in Ridgewood. George knows the name. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. So yeah, that way Rusty, you and Inting can come and join us. So yes, we'll let you know when that happens. And Tom Collins, just a name, do the... Oh, okay. But still in the highball, right? We can take over the lounge for sure, 24/7 only. Oh, okay. Oh, so the lounge is open to members 24... Oh, that's a fancy lounge. So I think that one, if he'll let us do the show from there on a Thursday night, I think we would have to like crash in New Jersey overnight and then drive back the next day. Because I really don't want to do a show and then drive back. Like, I've done it before. I mean, we could do it, drive the whole way home, but that's a long... When I was in my 20s, that was all right. Oh, the Siete, yes. Great cocktail rum, but I agree completely. Like, when I was drinking it as a neat rum, oh, man, rough, harsh, rough, just not pleasant. But with Coke in a highball glass and ice, very pleasant. It is the drink of choice. Actually, you know, it's interesting. Like, I don't know if you had this one, if you guys have had this, but when the 25-year, the 25 came out back in 2014, so you could get it at the La Colonia in, well, I was in Matagalpa, and I guess you get it in Esteli as well, but it was actually cheaper at the La Colonia than it was at the airport. But $125, and I don't know, I didn't like it. You know, I like the 12, I like the 18. The 25 was really more, it had a very bourbon-esque character to it. So if you like bourbons, great. I think you'll love it. But it didn't have that sweetness that the rum. I didn't enjoy it as much. Gary will give us a run of the place. Oh, you visited last week. Huh, nice. Yes, definitely. All right, good. We got to find a nice hotel to stay in, chill out. But not too nice, because I probably imagine that we're going to come back to the hotel 2 or 3 in the morning. Yeah, so now we're coming up to the, we're definitely in the last third. There's a little bit of a brightness emerging, a juiciness that's on the palate. Oh, that's interesting. You know, it's nice to smoke a cigar that you're not always getting pummeled with. Like lately, a lot of cigars that I smoke and a lot of cigars that are coming out, always about the pummeling. It's kind of like they're always looking for more strength. This, enjoyable. You know, I'm sitting here wondering, like, in the space, it's pretty cool, temperature-wise. It doesn't seem too smoky. I don't think I turned the ventilation on. I'm almost sure I didn't turn the ventilation on because I'd be sweating if we did. Doesn't look too hazy, does it? Well, why would it look hazy? It looks crystal clear here. 25-year, mostly duty-free only. But European Splinters... yeah, very woody character. But you can get it at the grocery store there. Or at least the last time. 2 or 3 in the morning, might have to take a... Yes, you should take a personal day off. Might as well say, oh, you're not going to go to SCA? Oh, man, all right. No New Orleans. I've been plotting out. I was with some friends last weekend, plotting out where to go in New Orleans. They used to live there. They went to Tulane, and they were like, you need to go to these places. I was like, all right, we'll check it out. Let's see. What did they say? They were talking about a place called Port of Call for burgers, Little Dizzy's for chicken, fried chicken, Deanie's for fried seafood, Mother's for something called Debris and the roast beef po' boy, Domalites for the shrimp po' boy, Arnaud's for souffle potatoes, Antoine's with a place, I guess they invented the oysters Rockefeller, and they do evidently an excellent baked Alaska. Brennan's, which evidently has the inventor of the Bananas Foster. And then they say a great place to drink is the Carousel Bar. So I guess we check those places out. Since Boston's next week, oh, okay, saving for that. That's the thing, though. Boston, again, we were just there in 2019. I don't like to go back to cities like so close like that. Like we did those 5 years in Seattle. I really didn't like that. But you know, at least when we go to Boston, I like to go to I like to eat seafood at Belle Isle Seafood over in Waltham. Oh, that's good eating right there. Good eating in Boston. And he's also, Rusty says that they think the Hawaii folk are out because of the Delta. Oh, yeah, the Delta. The Delta's getting bad. I don't know if you saw that, but in the news today, I saw that, what's his name? Death Santis is deploying a team to fight the COVID-19 surge. Says that they will be administering monoclonal antibody treatments to infected residents. Why? Why are they bothering? That's stupid. There is no COVID in Florida. DeSantis already said it. There is no COVID to worry about. It's a hoax. Forget it. If you're in Florida, it's a hoax. Don't worry about it. George says, your tour is nearing its end. My Fuente Fitness X tells 1/3 to go. Nice. Yes, but I think this one is like what? What does it say here? So this particular one, Short Churchill, $8.99, $9. How much is that Opus X? 30? So, you know, there should be a little bit longer out of it, I guess. I don't think Eric's going to be offended. And Dice says, Coops in New Orleans is a good place for eats. Oh, I'll check that out. Add that to the list. George likes Little Dizzy's. Excellent. And Antoine's and Brent. Oh, my light went out. I ran out of battery. Hang on. We're going to be a little bit more dramatic now because the lighting is different. My one light. One of the lights that I run for the key light, actually, is battery powered, and I didn't get a chance to fully charge it, and so it's kind of what I really need to do is get a AC adapter for it. Better to leave Boston for yes, I agree. But Providence has some great places to eat. The only problem is, you know, we're at a trade show for that, and kind of difficult to drive an hour every day. Did we do this one? Bring your wallet to Antoine's? Yes. We went to one place that was in the Garden District the last time I was there. When we were there for the IPCPR show a few years, was it 2015, 2016? Had a great meal at Rahul and I went to this place that was really, really nice. I no longer remember. I went with the guys from Hawaii, like Marvin and them. We went out to Commander's Palace. That was fun. You know, you kind of think that Commander's would be like a tourist trap, but it was actually, I really enjoyed it. Yes, mood lighting. But let's see what, let's have a look at what's his face, Charlie has to say. Charlie thinks that the uglier the Cameroon wrapper, the better the cigar will be. I didn't think mine was too ugly. This was pretty good. But since we're almost to the end, let's just cut to the end of the chase. '91, outside of Casa Fuente, the Warzone Short Churchill might be the best strong classic Cameroon cigar I've smoked. There are other companies that have begun to make stronger Cameroon wrapped tobacco, Cameroon cigars. Romacraft's Baca, which one I had last night, and the Blackworks Killer Bee, the Swarm. Oh, I haven't tried that one. Come to mind. But those cigars don't taste very Cameroon-like. I suspect perhaps due to the lack of cigars like this and the general trend of cigar blends getting stronger. Yeah, there we go again. We will begin to see more cigars that have a classic Cameroon wrapper flavor and are medium full or stronger in terms of nicotine. But for now, this might be as well be good as it gets, unless you live in Vegas. Not sure what that means. Oh, but I guess the Casa Fuente, right? Warzone Churchill has a rich Cameroon flavors that I found in blends like Don Carlos, La Aurora Preferidos, while also delivering the new age punch that I've had in countless cigars from Nicaragua. Unfortunately, if it's below 50 degrees outside, I would recommend it waiting, because he talks about the 50 degrees because evidently in colder climates, colder weather, the wrapper cracks. Huh, interesting. All right, Charlie, I'll go along with that. 91. So Rusty wants to know, did you book your tickets for the cigars? No, that's in, did you, Andrew, you sent me that. After I got that message, I kind of looked at it, I totally forgot about it. But was that in Portland, Oregon, is that right? No drive ticket, you mean to Boston? I did that when we went to the show in 2013. That was pretty good. Of course, that time, something hit the train and we had to stop. Cracked the windshield on the engineer's window. It's a Cameroon seed from Ecuador, right? Let's see. What do the guys from Half Wheel have to say about that? Cameroon. Let's see. Does it say? Blended wise, it used a Cameroon wrapper from General over Honduran binder and fillers. Made it La Zona. It doesn't say specifically if it's from Ecuador. It just says Cameroon wrapper from General. So you would know better if it's from there than I would. And Tony says those Cameroon wrappers are notoriously fragile. You know, I think it's interesting. Like when you think about it, like when you watch people roll the cigars, they're really typically pulling pretty hard on that that wrapper as they're rolling it. It never seems to tear. I wonder why that. I wonder why it doesn't tear. It's just because they're more hydrated. I imagine that's why. Cameroon is fragile, yes. So avoid cold weather smoking. From Boston, yes, okay, gotcha. The problem that I think there, like if you're just going to go like overnight or like for dinner, I think one of the difficulties, and I don't know how it is from Boston to Providence, but at least, let's say Baltimore to D.C., like I would love to take the train into D.C. The problem is like, yeah, you could take the train most any time of the day, but when you want to come home, it's either what? You have to leave at 10 p.m. or 3 a.m. It's like, isn't there a train like at 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock? Must I wait until 3 a.m.? Because, if I go out to dinner, man, I want to I want to go out to dinner and like be there for like a long time. Like my friend was visiting from Cincinnati, and she called me up. She's like, hey, come down to D.C. Let's go to my buddy's restaurant. And we went to a place called Fiola. That's Terboki's restaurant. And she's friends with the executive chef at their Venice location, who happened to be in town, just kind of, I guess, shadowing the exec in DC. And so we were there, and so, man, we were there. I think we had a 7:30 reservation, and they just pounded us. The kitchen pounded us with food, pounded us with drinks, like wines and wines and wines. And man, you know, we left at, I don't know, almost midnight. Although that trip was probably a better time for me to take a train at 3 a.m. Would allow me to sit at Union Station and chill for a couple hours. Tony says, you are correct about the moisture makings. Yes, okay. If it's from Gentle, it's legit. Okay, good. Well, they got all the money. And wrapper is wet when you roll it. So it has plenty of stretch. Got it. And Dash says they want to build a high street train. I mean, that would be great. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm all in favor of, like, high speed, like real high speed rail. Like, I remember I was in Taiwan. I went to Taipei. I mean, I was in Taipei, and one of my good friends has a coffee company down in Taichung, and he was like, man, you need to come down and visit. And I was like, all right, I'll come down and visit. I said, how do I get there? He said, take the HSR, which is high speed rail, and take it from Taipei to Taichung, and I'll pick you up. All right, excellent. So I go to the train station. It's $35 US to take the high-speed rail. And the high-speed rail, HSR, in Taiwan is based on the Shinkansen, which is the Japanese bullet train. $35, 45 minutes later, I'm in Taichung. Go down and visit him at his roastery, and we hang out for a bit. Then he takes me out to dinner, where I finally had the stinky tofu, which is a classic of Chinese cuisine, but not terribly loved by my palate. It is a taste that is acquired, or it's a taste that is cultural, and my Americanized palate is just not pleased with funky tasting tofu. Anyway, took the train back, I don't know, in the evening. So I was back by 10 o'clock or something in Taipei. Another $35, another 45 minutes. I had no idea where I was, like, the distance. But evidently, Taiwan is such that you can go from end to end, and I think in 3 hours on the HSR. So I decided, let me look up the distance of the trip that I did from Taipei to Taichung. And I looked it up, and it was the equivalent distance of essentially Baltimore, D.C., to New York City. Oh no, I guess it was like maybe it's an hour and a half to them, because the farthest terminal was equivalent to going to Boston. 45 minutes to go from Baltimore to New York for $35. People that drive to DC from Baltimore, their commute is 45 minutes, at least. So it made me think that, man, if you could actually do this in America, imagine you could, like, work in New York City at New York wages and then commute home to Baltimore and have, Baltimore living prices. I think that would have revolutionized how we live in America, or how a lot of people can live in America. Like, you take the Acela, which is only marginally faster than the regular train. And the Acela is based on the TGV from Europe. But that's still Baltimore to New York takes 2 hours, 15 minutes still. So compared to 2 hours, 30 minutes on the other train. So it's not really faster. And it costs like, what, $250 round trip? So, I mean, it's considerably more. So George says to eat and smoke till midnight, then rest till 3. That could work. But then I don't get home till 5 a.m. Not too conducive for like a Wednesday night. Stinky tofu, acquired taste. Yes, to be sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't acquired that. Maybe I can try more in the future. Oh, we're starting to get down. It's starting to get a little bit sharp, a little bit bitey. This Florida Caña 7 and Coca-Cola, that's a winner. That's a winner. Yeah, see, Brian says, we'd catch more Broadway shows at 35. Yeah, because then you could, like, go, have dinner, see Hamilton, come home. You could be home by 1 a.m., like in your house. Acela is a scam. You know, it's interesting when I took the Acela a couple times over the years. And I think it's more comfortable to sit on the regular train than it is the seats on the Acela are not as comfortable as the regular seats on our train. Like, especially in the business class section. I like the business class. The business class is quieter, the seats are a little bit better. It doesn't cost tremendously more. But evidently, one of my customers, he went to New York a couple times during the pandemic. He was getting tickets for like $29. I was like, whoa, $29 to New York. That's crazy. That's like bus prices. But yeah, if we could get like an HSR type rail here, that could be really massive, I think. And then what Musk is trying to do the vacuum tube system. I don't really know how that works. I don't really understand that yet. I haven't watched enough YouTube videos about it. But that seems kind of interesting. No, I did not hear back. I don't think I'll get it. But if you want to see my video, I did post my video onto the channel here so people could see it. It's actually longer than the one that I actually submitted. It was like the one that I have running on the channel is actually the 3-minute version, and you're supposed to do a 2-minute version. So I cut it down for the actual submission. But that would have been nice, $100,000 until from now and from September to just at the end of the year. That'd be kind of cool. Whoever got that is super stoked. But I imagine they're probably looking for someone that's more like a Guy Fieri kind of personality. Which I'm not. But, you know, speaking of TV show host, watching the Roadrunner documentary last night, what I thought was really interesting was when they were talking about Tony Bourdain's commitment to making the show as best as it could be, as poignant as it could be. You know, I really kind of heard that, and I was like, oh, man, that's what I really need. For the YouTube videos, I really need to work more on that. Because, you know, in the YouTube world, they always talk about you have to do weekly. You want to do weekly releases. But if you're doing weekly releases, you know, ostensibly 52 shows a year, that's a lot of work. And something has to do that kind of rate of production. Something has to suffer. So recently, on this channel, I've started taking a more slow approach. Right, I've kind of slowed it down. I haven't released every week recently. I've been working on some of the projects that I think are going to be hopefully a little more interesting, a little more deeper, but they take longer to produce. And yes, Acela seat. Yeah, the seats are just terrible. I do love the way the doors open, right? Like the TGV, it's all like interconnected. The doors kind of got that Star Trek kind of swoosh opening. I love that. But man, you know, at the times that I rode on the Acela, I actually sat in the food car because those seats they're more like stools, but they were more comfortable to me, at least to my seating and to my body, than the regular seats. Musk has a deal pending for the Boring Company to do DC. That would be cool. What do they call that technology? I forgot the name. But I think that could be quite interesting. Yeah, Rusty, you should definitely watch it. It's really quite good. Oh, speaking of Prime, I was out last week this past week, yeah, last week, and I stopped by the AT&T store, and they kind of upgraded my plans, and now they have these unlimited plans where you can have unlimited data and talk and all this. But it comes with HBO Max, and I never really did the streaming services, so I was kind of checking it out last week. I watched Suicide Squad on HBO Max, and it's not bad, not bad. It's not as good as having your own download or video of it. It just, the performance is a little bit different. And Dice says rare coffee is great. Oh, thank you. That's actually the style for rare coffee. I was actually biting from a guy named Evan Hatfield. He's the son of Chris Hatfield, the Canadian astronaut, and he has a series called Rare Earth. So I kind of bit their style, but it's just kind of some of the elements, not really the whole way they do it. Like I really paid attention to how he was doing it. I was like, and it wasn't the style that I wanted to do completely, so I just took some elements out of it. Tony always wanted to pay proper respect to his guests. Yeah, that was really, really, really interesting. Like it gave me a little bit more depth of respect for him because of that. And Dive's asking, magnetic rail? No. If I remember, Musk has this system where there's a car that holds so many people, maybe like 8 people or 10 or maybe more. But it basically goes inside a vacuum tube because I guess under vacuum there's less drag. Yeah, there's no air to push against it, and it just it's a whole different kind of technology. I don't really know the specifics on it. All right, George, thank you very much. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you. Have a great one. See you next time, of course. Thanks for your insight, as always. So here we are. We're coming up to the end. And as always, Rusty wants to know, would I buy it again? Yeah, this one, yeah, for sure. It's got a lot of satisfaction in the smoke and the experience that I find that I also get from like a Revenge, and some similar notes to the Revenge, but it doesn't have the full force strength of Revenge. So it's kind of like Revenge Light. Maybe that's a way to good look at it. It's also a light box press, so the draw is really nice. I think it's really quite good. And Charlie Minato gives it a 91, and I would have to agree with that. I think that's a good cigar. It's a good cigar. Worth trying. Surprising that it's from a company like General, but I guess since they're working with Eric Espinosa, that it's to be expected that it's better. This is not your typical like General Altada cigar that is just kind of benign and smooth and not terribly complex and not too demanding. This has some level of, it's a little bit demanding. Like it calls your attention, engages you, and but it's not too forceful. George says Suicide Squad is a bit too long. Yeah, devolved CGI gags built in the GOT model. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, yeah, I definitely see that. Like, it was fun at times, but it's certainly not to the level. It's not a Marvel level movie. Like Marvel really, the guys at Marvel really have it down as far as satisfying an audience and like engaging the audience. Like this one, Suicide Squad, has its moments, but otherwise sometimes you're just like, what in the world are they doing? And why are they doing that? And it's kind of like a lot of gags, a lot of stupidity. Like, what was the other one? The Justice League, right? The Justice League, the re-release, the one that's like 3 hours long. I think that was a good DC movie after the first hour. The first hour is just like fluffy nonsense that just kind of like, I don't care about all that backstory. and too much exposition, too much. I don't care about that. But once you get past the first hour into the second and third hour, then it's like worth watching. Deadpool stuff. Yeah, Deadpool, they do a great job with the Deadpool. I like the Deadpool. Even like the two different versions of Deadpool 2, like I guess like the PG-13 rated version, the R-rated version, I thought both were really interesting in their own right. Also, was it Suicide Squad? Oh, no. I'm thinking of the Django Unchained. I was watching that last night. A lot of blood, like a lot of like these crazy shootouts of blood. I don't know about that. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, GOTG. Got it. Guardians is great. I like Guardians. But without the, like, you don't feel as, at least me, I didn't feel as connected to the Suicide Squad members as I do for the Guardians people. Like when you have these gags with Thor in Guardians. Was that in Guardians or was that later? I guess that was Infinity War. But you kind of laugh along with them because you're enjoying it. Where Suicide Squad, it's not quite like that. And Tony says, check out Titans on HBO Max. Pretty good on the dark side. Titans, is that related to any of the two universes, or I'm not too familiar with that. And then George says, the longer you watch Suicide Squad, the more Birds of Prey was good. I enjoyed Birds of Prey. I think it's kind of like, actually, Birds of Prey is probably the best one of the three that has Harley Quinn. I think I like Birds of Prey the best. Well, speaking of which, it reminds me of that other one, Gunpowder Milkshake, the Karen Gillan movie. Karen Gillan. Actually, anything with Karen Gillan, I'm willing to watch. But I thought that the Gunpowder Milkshake, I thought that was enjoyable. Nice to see girls kicking ass. Yeah, George says no attachment to the character. Yeah, there's really they don't. DC hasn't found a way to really connect you to the characters, right? And I don't know if that's, I'm not a comic book guy. I didn't grow up reading DC or Marvel. But like, that's really where I think Marvel excels, is that you really feel a connection. Even in their like spin-off shows like WandaVision, you still feel some connection to them, even though it's completely absurd. There is that connection. You feel that connection. Or the Loki series that just finished. Or even like the Falcon the Winter Soldier, their banter and the irritation for irritation with each other feels genuine. You have that experience with people that you know. But the Suicide Squad, like what's with that Weasel guy? What the hell's he doing? And the Colonel guy, I don't know. Dice says he enjoyed, yes, Shazam. Actually, Shazam, I really enjoyed that one too. Like, that was their best DC movie because you really felt that connection. Like, I did like a lot of the Batman versus Superman when Wonder Woman comes in. I kind of like that. I thought it was just enjoyable. I didn't really feel like I don't identify with either Spider-Man or Superman or Batman, but I thought that was good. But Shazam, I thought was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyable time. And so George says Titans is the DCEU, but actually better than majority film. Oh, okay. I will have to check that out. Now that I have HBO Max, I can check it out. DC does villains better. Marvel kills it with. Oh, that's true. That makes sense. Yeah, like you do like the Joker, which probably you shouldn't like. All right, so my cigar has gone out. I've got it all the way down to the nub. So I'm not going to relight because I'll just burn myself. And I've already done that tonight. All right, so I guess that's going to be it for this week. Let's see what we got coming up for the next week. Next week is on the 19th, we're going to have the Fruit Leather LCA Robusto. Fruit Leather is that group of guys that are making cigars that are kind of for, my understanding is they're just for consumers, but they released a line for a limited series for retailers. So we're going to be smoking that next week. On the 26th of August, we're going to do the Villa Casdagli Robusto. And then after that, into September, we're going to be doing the Lampert 1675 Azul Toro. On the 9th, Gran Habano Blue and Green Gran Robusto. And then on the 16th, Cloud Hopper number 485. So that's what's coming up. All those cigars I get from Rahul at Tobacco Leaf. So if you get a chance, go give Rahul a call and tell him, hey, I need some of these cigars so that we can all smoke them together. And once George and I have a powwow and figure out when we're going to do this Ridgewood, New Jersey show, we'll let you know. And then those of you who can make it, come join us. It'll be good times. We'll have control of the lounge. That'd be kind of fun. But that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah. All right. Good night to there, you, George. Oh. And yeah, now it's time. So if you, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you. If you've been watching us on the replay, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate you spending the time with me again. We'll be back next Thursday at 8 p.m. as always. And hopefully it won't be too hot next week. So until then, have a great week and see you.